This seems to be working, but I'm not sure. Well, come on in. I hope you're good. I hope your weekend was good. As always, we have some news. Kinda. We have some off news here and there. Things are broken, things are working, which is a good news. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things turn out. That's the plan. That is the plan. Other than that, I think I forgot this. Yes, that makes sense. We've had some kind of news thingy happening on the app as expected. Some things are good, some things are debatable, some things I don't know how to show you. We'll see. But yeah, the Twitter things, however, has been kind of not active, so I don't have much for today. As always, I'm saying that and I have like 20,000 things, but yeah, as always, we'll go on it. The main point that we have for today is I tried to put something in place and it worked. And then I thought for a second and it didn't make any sense. So I reverted. That makes the most sense. Basically what I had a second ago, and then I just fully reverted the entire thing. We just load this. Is here we had in the search for new perfumes thingy, I put in place something where you could have some autocomplete when it comes to looking for perfume. So you click on the plus, and then when you type something like atomic or whatever, it just gave you potential options auto-completed underneath. That was the initial thought. And so in my head, that made a lot of sense because if I'm in here and I'm looking for atomic, for example, same thing, it's going to give me the answers of the things that already exist in the database that I have access to and I can use and add to my collection. The thing is, in the previous screen, that first effect at the top doesn't exist. So you can't, or I couldn't, I could have done something for fixing that, I don't know. But I basically gave you the entirety of the things that were available and not just the things that you have access to. I know it's a bit of a different things, but like the top one, for example, is something that is already in my collection, meaning that I can't re-add it to my collection because it makes no sense. And in the autocomplete, you could basically re-add the same perfume again into your collection, which would create duplicates and issues and so on. So that was the issue that made me that basically just revert the entire thing. I think it's a good idea to have some autocomplete for brands and perfumers, but for anything else, I don't know. I feel like that might not be exactly what we need to have. So we'll see. But in the meantime, I made some changes to other teeny tiny change, other teeny tiny things like the section in the profile where now, and I don't think I can show you that right here. I need to go into the paid here. We now have some analytics in terms of what you have in your collection in a way that makes more sense. So we have the decades based on which decades your perfumes are in. So that's pretty good. That's good news. I think the fact that I made the chart the same color the all way through makes no sense. I might need to change some of the colors here, but I do like the minimalistic look of it rather than having like too many colors and being like a big Christmas tree. So we'll see if that changes. Underneath that, I have the top brands and the top perfumers because some people on TikTok have been requesting, asking if that could happen. Have like some perfumers based reviews so that they can, see that they like this one specifically a lot. So we'll see. Maybe that's a thing that will happen. And then same thing for the weather and the seasons. Very simple, but as you can see, I don't know. Like these ones, for example, are using colors. It might not be as visible as expected, but there is a bit of colors in the icon specifically for the seasons, not necessarily for the weather. I feel like the weather one is more clean. minimalistic, and so on. So that's tiny things. But yeah, I think these things have been pretty fun and pretty useful. I try to re re write these phrases and sentences here because they are still too long to me, and I still can't figure out exactly what I need to do. So we'll see. That's the main news, at least for the visual stuff. And then there is one that I'm just testing right now, which is this section right here, which gives me the ability to have more recommendation in the morning. Cat, hi, welcome on in. How are you? How's the day going? How's everything? So yeah, so that's the thing. I think it's good. I think it's a good idea. I think overall it's gonna be useful to have like more than two recommendation in the morning or in the evening or in whenever you are needing a perfume. But I also see the issues that can come in at this point for other things like five is a lot. I tried with five. It's a bit of an overwhelming stack of cards in the where it is. So that's something that might change. I don't know. We'll see. And then the other thing is having three is a good idea. Having four is starting to be a lot of swipes. So we'll see. Um, it's I think it's going to be a good feature and useful feature for people that have like a bigger collection. For people that have like a small collection of like 3 to 5 perfumes, it makes no sense to have like a recommendation of 5 cards because basically you can have whatever. So I might have like a range based on the perfume count. So if you have like up to 10, maybe you can have only up to 3 recommendation per day. If you have more than 10 and less than 50, maybe you can have 4. And then above that, maybe 5 is fine. I don't know. I'm gonna check. But yeah. Speaking of leg day, hmm? uh, it was it was me, yes, indeed. Like always, it's the beginning of the stream. I don't know why it breaks, but it breaks. It makes no sense. But yeah, speaking of leg days, as I was saying, I did leg day on Saturday, and today, because it's 2 days after, I can't seat. It's the soreness is 2 days late, and I never understand why that happens, but that happens every time. So yeah. The thing that I don't like about that leg day, the thing that happened on Saturday is plenty of things, first of all. But most importantly, um, people were waiting for the machine in front of me, and I'm taking like 2 to 3 minutes rest between sets. And I just hate being there on my phone just waiting when there are people waiting because it makes no sense to me. And so I basically cut like the last set waiting time, the last 2 sets, kind of short compared to my usual wait. So more soreness because of it. It happens. It's fine though. It's fine. The thing that was fun though, fun. Saturday was the 1st of November. That's how calendar works. And November 1st is national holiday thing. I forgot what happened, probably a war or something. I have no clue. It's a French holiday. Um, and my gym on national holidays open at 9 and not at 6. So I went there at 6, but it was open. So I went in, I saw the paper on the tourniquet door things when you pass your card and so on. And it was saying on the 1st it's going to open at 9 and so on. I was like, oh, cool. So tomorrow it opens at 9. Good. I don't care. So I went in. Morphin, hi, what's going on? How are you? How's the day going? And so I went in. No one was there, which was kind of weird to me, but that was fine. I arrived at the bottom to put things in my locker and so on. And I took my phone and I saw that today was the first. And I was like, ah, shit, so I'm not supposed to be here. So I went back out. I could have trained, to be honest. I could have just trained and do things that entirely because no one cares anyways. But yeah. So I went back out. I came back here. I worked for like 3 hours and then went back to the gym. Was good. Kroskis, hi, welcome on in. How's the day going? Yeah, hi, welcome on in. How's the existential crisis? Are you good? Is it better? Do you feel fine? Yes. Good timing. Congrats. That's the good news. That's the news that we like to hear. Um, so yeah, that's the thing that happened on Saturday, and I don't really understand why my brain just doesn't recognize dates. I mean, I know why. I'm so not used to the day of the week anymore. So that is the reason. That is the reason. No other question. So yeah, that is the thing. But yeah, the other good news, which is kind of funny for me, but that's just a me thing. It's gonna be kind of weird, but came back. They were back. They were back. They came out. Like I told you, like the child was there. She went out. Now the boyfriend is here apparently, and he keeps turning my water off because he doesn't know. So now my water is off. He thinks it's his that is on, and he's out, probably eating or doing something. I don't know. Which means when he comes back, he's gonna want to take a shit. Can't the water because dumbasses don't understand how pipes work. So we'll see. That's gonna be fun. That is going to be fun. Um, it's the second time I turn it back on for me. So that means that for his point of view, someone or something is turning it off, and it makes no sense. Like I think if you know pipe, and then I'm gonna read the chat for a second, but if you know pipe, you kind of uh you you kind of understand how a valve work, right? So you have pipe. That's how pipe work. Let's do just that, and let's do a custom top and bottom pipe, pipe. So from there you have your your water that is going through this way. Um, right? You know what? Cyan is going to be better for this. That's the sense, the direction of said water. And so when you have something like, I don't know, the valve for the thing right in the center, right about here, what you can do with that is know how things work. And basically the simple part of it is you have your valve that is usually red. If it's aligned with the pipe the water is going through, and if it's like this, right, like this, it's not, because it's perpendicular, and that's how pipe work. And so for the water to flow, the valve is going this way, which makes sense. And every time he comes back, he just do this. And for his specific one, instead of going down, it's going up. So he just need to do that. But apparently that's too complicated. And yeah, that's the diagram. Yeah. Yeah, no, because I mean technically you have my valve that is going here and his that is going there. So basically in terms of the flow of things and how things work, it looks like something is broken because the pipe in question is going back down and then back to my flank. So the whole like plumbing is really wrong around here, which makes sense, but that's kind of it's kind of bad. But yeah, that's where we are. So right now, I don't have water. I don't care though. I don't need it. But yeah, um, let me read the chat. It was related to how I do syncing. Insanely flat. Congrats on that. That's good. Um, I wish I could say the same for me. I really wish I could say the same for me. There is a ton of thing that happen when I'm looking at Xcode and the performance of the app when it's running on device and so on that just don't make sense. And I know you're not like using Xcode, so you probably don't have that issue, but it's just, I don't know. Um, I don't know. It makes no sense. Makes no sense to me. Um, Waiting for taxi at 4 a.m. and the car slowed down, and I thought it was for you. Some student in their early 20s anxiously tried to buy cocaine off of you. That happens to me too, but not outside. Not yet. I think I'm still good. Still good there. At least from my point of view, it's still good. Um, but yeah, so that's a thing that happened to me when I was in Berlin, and I forgot which club it is. I think it was the Bargain, as you know, French people go to, white people go to. Um, but yeah, I was just waiting for my friend outside of the bathroom, and so two guys came to me and just like and said, uh, "What do you have?" I had nothing. So yeah, I wasn't off. I wasn't out. Hasn't been out. Been out in the beginning, but not now. But yeah, yeah, and I wish I could do the same as you for the optimization. I wish I could understand how optimizing thing need to be, and specifically for syncing, I wish I understood how sync with iCloud worked entirely, because right now I don't. I mean, I do, but I don't. Um, so that's the fun part. I wish everything was optimized because goddamn, it's good, but it's not great. That's the issue. Earlier today I had like a card here that was just not good enough to showcase things, and yeah, I don't know. So here, these two cards basically are broken for one reason, and I think I kind of know. If you look closely when I'm swiping them, it's just it's a bit laggy. Like it's not my finger. Like it's a bit laggy. I mean, specifically when I'm looking at it and I'm touching it, it feels laggy. So that's annoying. And I think it's because of this one that has an inner sticker thing happening. If you look closely, like the inside, the thing that is highlighted in the center is not supposed to be um, hollowed out, but it is, and that's kind of weird. So that's something. But then if I go into the 5 card version, which is a new section that I have, I will now have 5 cards uh, potential. And this stack feels kind of wrong, mainly because they are all fanning out as much as possible and almost all from the same corner. So that's something that I need to change. Um, but yeah, we'll see. I think it's just these two cards. These ones are fine, but because they are the other two are in the stack, it just makes no sense. So yeah, that's the thing that I changed today. I think overall, the fact that I have like three cards is a bit better than anything else. Two is the best for me, at least in the morning, and it needs to be optimized as well. But yeah, um, I don't know what to optimize though. That's the thing. I would say for many reasons, and for many things, like here, the stuff that might be needing more optimization is the image itself being a bit too heavy for what it is. So having an image that is a bit lighter in size and in complexity and so on might be a good idea. But yeah, I don't really know. And then the sync just it needs to sync, but it doesn't. And also, it's such an annoyance because I have the I think I said that before. I have the dev container in CloudKit and the public container, production container. And so right now, this app specifically is in the dev container, so it doesn't really have anything that works with other users. Not that users have access to that anyways, but like I don't really have the sync enable. And then in production, I have the sync enable that works, but right now, because I'm testing stuff, I don't exactly know if it works with the sync anymore. So I I basically don't have a choice and need to test in production. I'm a real dev now. That's not true. But I'm testing in prod. That's that's where we are. That's what's happening. So yeah. And the sync system is such a background task situation thing that I don't really know how I can manage it here myself, that yeah, it's gonna be a bit weird. It's gonna be a bit weird, but it's gonna work at some point. I'm gonna have stuff. Right now, however, the thing that I'm trying to build is ensuring that most of the system for recommendation, system for presentation, and um, potentially, and I don't know about that yet, but like potentially have some data that is user based, as in not based, user managed. So the numbers of cards right now is going to be based on me. I am the user, and I'm saying I want three cards in recommendation in the morning, not two, not four. I want three, and I'm giving you a range between two and five because that makes sense to me, and I can change that between one and five, and it's okay. But that's, I think, is going to help in terms of user generation things to make sure that the app is as customized as possible. The thing is, there is a lot of other subsection that I kind of want to have as user managed. So in the collection itself, I kind of want to give you the ability to create your own filters, because right now it's only filtering or giving you the ability to filter through some common practices, right? Quick filter, as in favorite, recents, and so on. But I feel like it would be pretty useful if I gave you some more technical filtering, as in, I these are my perfumes that have strawberry in top note, for example. Like very annoying, but like it's three of them. And it's a quick access. If I did this, I feel like the folders or the collection, the created collections right there makes no sense anymore because you can basically just create a section of folder. But I'm also thinking this is a very data driven, like data analyst version of how the app could work rather than having um, a common way of thinking. A common way of thinking, sorry. Welcome in, Stony. How's the day going? So yes, that's the thing. That is the thing. I don't know exactly um how, but yes. That is where we are, you know. That is where we are. So I don't know. Maybe I think the filter system could be better, and the filter system could provide some sort of pre-selection of your collection. Oh, that sounds very bad in French. Maybe, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Cybersect, hi, welcome on in. How are you? How's the day going? So yes, that's the current thinking debates in my head, adding stuff that is going to be based on the user for the user device specifically. So that means if you have like a set of, I don't know, um, settings, no. Preferences, maybe. Um, Things that you like most for your perfume to be recommended. I could give you access to toggles and stuff that basically are the ones that I'm using for making sure that the recommendations in the morning are based onto you. So maybe that's something that I could give you as the user and say, well, I here are the things that I like because I know that this is the thing that I like, and I can tweak my algorithm myself as the user on device. That's the thing that I think could be interesting and useful, but also could also be extremely annoying for a lot of people because they don't really understand how things work. So uh, that would necessarily be on in only the advanced mode for the people that are going into the advanced mode. Um, which is just a toggle in the settings. Nothing really fancy here, but giving you like some potential idea of, oh yeah, here are the, oh yeah, here is the recommendation algorithm and the weights for each of the things that I'm using for that recommendation. And you can toggle them on and off. Like maybe you like maybe the fact that something is in your favorite doesn't have any fucking weight for you in your head, and therefore just not taking that into consideration as a potential ID. Um, so yeah, I'm thinking about it. I don't know. There's also something that not forgot, but like haven't put in place yet, which is in terms of where we are here, the current recommendation system is going through the weather at the top. That's one of the most important thing because we know that if it's rainy, some of the perfume that you have might just go away really, really fast. That makes sense. The thing is, if you're someone that works from home, like my ass, the weather has no impact whatsoever because, I might just wear the thing and it's going to remain the same because it's inside. Um, and if you're someone that like, if you're someone that likes, is in an office and commute for like 15 minutes, and then you remain in the office all day, the weather doesn't really impact your perfumes either. Like you will have that 15 to 20 minutes of commuting that is either in a car. Um, no, no, no. On the app recommending perfumes to you based on the weather. Different thing. Um, and so like that's the thing. It could impact your lunch break. Like if it's sunny outside, you potentially eat outside in a park or something, if that's something that you do. Again, that's very French of me and Japanese of me to think about this, because people are usually like in buildings uh, all the time, and so they don't really think about the outside. So that's something. Um, So yeah, like there is a lot of small tweaks in the algorithm that I have currently, and the weight of each of the things that needs to be tweaked. And yeah, I don't. So that's not exactly what I'm doing, but kinda. Like I'm already hooked into weather kit from iOS, so that I have the weather at the top, and that's about it. And I also have the location for the city. That's the thing. Um, but I don't have anything else, and there is nothing else that I can, could, might use based on open APIs and stuff. And the other thing is I would only use the things that are free, like the stuff that I can access for free, which is like Apple stuff for now, which makes the most sense. So we'll see. But then again, to counteract your message, I think what you're saying is true for someone that knows what they're doing. Um, because me, I don't do shit specifically for API linking and other things. I'm just gonna ask Cursor to say, well, fix this thing, and then you know, that's the thing. Um, yeah, that could be interesting, but that feels too much. Specifically because the app is offline-ish first. Like the app itself doesn't require the internet other than getting the weather. Um, and that's it. So yeah, I think I mean, in the beginning, when I was thinking about the location system, I thought about inferring user home and user office if there was like a big difference in like the geolocation of the user across a certain period of time. And then I thought that was kind of weird. I mean, it would be on device and no one could access it anyway, so that's like, it doesn't really matter to me. But yeah, like it's not the same thing as Placify, which I like a lot because, it's just giving you a ton of places and a ton of options and whatever of where you've been. Do I have 4 places right there? That's crazy. Um, oh yeah, that makes sense. So like in here, there are things in there that are like automated, kinda. And in Rond, do I still have Rond? I think I got rid of it. Did I got rid of it? Apparently I did. God damn it. Yes, I did. Fuck me. Rond is another app that I used to have on my phone and now I don't, which was basically inferring my location and say, oh, you spend X amount of time at that place. Is this home or is this office? And then you can just select whatever it is, and that makes sense. And I was thinking about doing that at some point, but you know, um, that's something that I don't need to think about, which is good. Um, because I don't get the information and everything is on device, and that's the good thing about Apple ecosystem. Everything is going through the Apple API, and I'm just doing calculation based off what I'm receiving on device. I don't know who's what, doing what, and so on. So there is nothing that is linked to the user, and the only thing that I'm gathering from the user device to the iCloud container is some of the data. But yeah. Eh. So first of all, probably you're probably right, and I don't know. That's the first thing that I want to make sure that we are clear with because I don't know what that is. Second of all, I don't know if I would be able to know if that was happening anyways. So, you know, eh. I don't have any clue. I have no clue. That's the thing. Like, it's just currently, at least, as far as right now, the only thing that happens is if the user is a paid user, they have access to the CloudKit sync. The CloudKit sync or the iCloud sync let them have the ability to get their entire collection synced with iCloud. That's it. That's it. And that's in their private database thing. So, yeah. Um, hmm. I don't know. I mean, I do have the, you can't see that here, to be honest. That's not gonna help. That is not gonna help. I had to do this. I had to have the Apple Weather logo next to it, if that's what you're talking about. Other than that, um, like that's the only thing that is connected to the internet, basically. And then that section is if you are a paid user, you can sync, but that's it. And then the entirety of the rest of the app is not linked to anything. Like it's just there. Um, like nothing is leaving your device ever, kind of. I'm lying. No, but like most of the things are not leaving your device. All of the data that I have are not leaving your device unless you are like, um, how can I say that? Someone that is requesting to add, like not requesting, but like allowing Apple to track your data, which is something that I do as well. When you're setting up your iPhone in the first place, you have the thing that says allow Apple, whatever, to make the iPhone better. I forgot, like share usage data and so on. That's the thing that I say yes and. That's it. Other than that, that's all we have. Nothing else. Everything in there is clean, clean and working, which is the important thing. Um, but yeah, no, I don't know. I implemented the GDPR on my previous company, so I had to go through the entirety of the understanding of how things work and what was a good thing, what was a bad thing, and so on. I had to write the entire thing, so I kind of know about that section. Um, in simple terms, as long as the data that is gathered by the app is um, anonymized and not linked to the user in any way, it doesn't go under the GDPR thing. As soon as it can be linked to the user itself, it just needs to be disclosed. That's the basis of it. So if you have something that says, here is a arbitrary user like um, unique ID that is not like that I am generating, but is not necessarily linked to a device or an iCloud account or something. And this is the data that is linked to that user because it's not linked necessarily or trackable and traceable back to the user itself. It's kind of fine. Um, but That's not what happened. So I'm fine with it. I am fine with it. So far, I'm pretty good. Nothing is tracked. The only thing that can happen is if you are entering, like, let's say this one was not existing in the database, and that's the case, and I created it from my phone, it then went into a system of here is all of what we have. This is an in-review perfume. This is something that you can add to the database later. So it goes onto the server for me to review manually. And then when I'm manually reviewing this thing, and I say, well, this is good, I can then send it to everyone so that everyone now that has the app, technically speaking, is supposed to be able to look for this specific perfume and add them to their collection. Um, that's the plan. And that only happened for like 3 users, which are the admins, myself, and the people that are marked as contributors. So that doesn't really happen. But nonetheless, most of the data that is in there is something that is not linked to the user at all. It's linked to the perfume itself. And because that's not a user-based thing, this is the data that I can basically gather and not have any issue with as well. So yeah, is I know. On today's episode of thing that I changed as well is this. I did something myself, Stony. You can be proud of me if you want. Just if you want. If you don't want, that's fine. Basically, what happened is in the section that is right about here, um, there was right about here. No, right about there. Sorry. There is this button right here that needs um, to be displayed when I have like multiple groups, collection, and so on. And what I did is I recognized that uh, an if would be a good idea to display something. Made sense. That it was based on the view model, that it was based on all groups, based on what we have somewhere a bit below, I think here or there, I forgot exactly where it is, but there is like an if view model, whatever, that we already had in there that I kind of used as a reference. And then instead of having like it was an is empty or is not empty or something, so I changed that to count because that made sense in my head. And if it's superior or equal to 1, then we display this button. If that's not the case, if it's just 1, um, then it's just not displayed, and that works. That worked. I did that on my own without the AI helpers. Yay me! I know it's a lot. It's an if, but yeah, no, that's the one in question. That's the one in question that I saw, and I was like, yeah, well, that's exactly what I need. I just need this thing to be a count, and the count needs to be above above 1. I don't know though. That's the only thing that I'm kind of unsure. I've done superior equal to 1. It works. So like it works. In my math class situation, that would mean that 1 is included. So I don't know. I don't know. But it works. So maybe I have something in my all group section that defined that my all group is everything that is above the like all folder, um, which is probably the case. And that's the reason. But yeah, I need to rewrite so much. Ah, goddamn. Nonetheless, it's working, which is the most important thing. And, yeah. Overall, I'm pretty happy with some of the changes that I'm making. Small changes. The font choices are good. The rendering are good. I'm looking for sounds. I kind of want to have sounds, teeny tiny sounds, small clicks, small small things that are like perfume related. But I don't know. Right this instant, I don't know. Um, but yeah, I like this as a way of checking stuff. It just makes sense in some sort. To just have the numbers, have the fucking all folders in no time, and then if you don't have a folder in there, you will have, well, nothing because you don't have a folder. So that makes no sense to display this. I would say if I went back to school, because that happens. If I went back to school, a lot of people would probably tell me that the fact that there is no icon here might make the feature of adding a perfume into a folder a bit invisible and non-existent, so that people don't really understand that they can do that. That's true. Do I care? No. I feel like the folder section is something that you want the user to be able to do after a certain amount of time in the app, not something that is like obviously available. Still useful. Nox, hi, welcome in. How are you? How's was the weekends? Good jobs, me's. Goddamn. How was your day? Um, so there are things that are going to need to happen as well, where I need to have like tooltips and using TipKit, which sounds kind of kinky, but um, it's really good. I would say that's the thing that pissed me off with Apple, is that most of the API or other things, frameworks that they have built and that are available on SwiftUI, they are good, but not like half good. Like they are pretty well implemented, well implementable, and it doesn't really matter what you do with it as long as you place them properly. Like specifically for the tooltips, you will end up with properly placed tooltips with rules and timers and other things and clicks and whatever that will just show if you want to have that on your onboarding, for example. It's that easy. You can just say, well, I just need that. I just need this in my onboarding, and that's it. Like, for example, for me, I need this. I need to have probably two in the home screen, because when you are launching the app for the first time, you end up here, right? You launch the app, you arrive on this thing. I'm already giving you an instruction, right? Of add some perfume, which is like tap to add perfume. You see the plus, you see the things, which kind of makes sense. If you click on it, it's gonna trigger the whole system, so that's fine. In that form of asking you how you want your perfume to be added to the collection and so on, I need two tooltips. I need one to say if you want to like search for perfume is going to be here. So that's just an inline tooltip that's going to be on top of this thing. So that it basically implied that the other two buttons do the same thing for brands and perfumers. That kind of makes sense. And then when that is done, that's about it. There is nothing else that just make or need tooltips to explain. Like you have some filtering here, but that's debatable. If you need help for this, I don't know. But yeah, that's the main thing. Maybe I will have one on the image URL just to make sure. After that, there might be one around here when you launch the app, it's going to be in list view that tells you that you can long press something. That can only happen if we have at least one entries in there. So that's something that can be displayed only in with the rules with TipKit that says if collection is greater than 5, for example, you can have a long press that is displayed. And therefore, at that point, the user will understand that, oh, yeah, I can long press something and then see the organization thing. That's a for later thing. And then here, I need one to say tap on the bottle to expand and there tap on the bottle to close. So it's just going to follow the bottle itself, but it's necessary because no one knows that this exists otherwise. So that's bad UX. I mean, no, it's bad UI. It's a good UX. It's a good user experience overall, but it's a bad UI because it's not like you don't understand that you can do that. So the initial thing and the easiest thing for me to do is either to use a tooltip to say that you can tap on it, or simply have one of these on top and animate it. The thing that pissed me off is that it needs some sort of a stored variable that says has tap, like has tapped on. So that's the thing, and I would need to get either a draw on or yeah, one of these. You know, just a small thing. Just a small thing. I think the wave is one of the potentially good options. Some of the dual wave, I forgot the name. Where is it? Here. These ones are I think that's a pretty good one. I know that there is option. Again, that's so useful. I know I've said that many times, but like having this as something that is available for free in SwiftUI or in iOS in general, I don't need to do anything about it. That's crazy. That is crazy. So yeah, so I'm thinking about adding like some of these on top of the perfume bottle so that it makes sense, and then potentially here, but even then I mean there is nothing else that is like interactive or that need interactions or presented interactions so that it makes sense. So we'll see. One of the thing that I'm annoyed about, but I don't know. And Stony, you might be able to help on this one. Or Crosskeys, you might be able to help as well. I don't know. In the manage collection section, which is the import export section, I can export the whole collection in CSV in 2 files, or in a JSON collection that is basically the entirety of the collection that I have, right? By doing so, I'm exporting a very specific JSON file with a specific structure. When I'm importing said thing, I have the ability to say it's either CSV or it's either a JSON file. What I'm saying JSON, it's basically giving me, or what I said so far is if it's the extension .json, it's going to be imported directly because it's supposed to be the same structure. The thing is, if you have a JSON file in your phone, which makes no sense, but whatever, you might be importing stuff that are not necessarily in the same format that I'm expecting to have, and therefore that might break. Would it make sense for me to provide an external extension type and create like a file extension type, like a .prefume or something, that is technically a JSON file, but that would mean that it's like a specific things for device to device transition. Does that make sense? Or is it better for me to just use a regular JSON system and I don't know. I don't know. Just user could rename things in .json, it would work as well. But creating like a specific extension for the devices or for the collection extension, specifically bound to the app, I don't know. I'm debating. This one has some sort of a. This one has a glow. Why is this thing? Oh, that's why. I see. That's supposed to be a button. I probably made a mistake. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if like having an external thing makes any sense. External extension for the file. I think it's a bit of a security section on my side, meaning that if it is a .prefume situation, it's going to be good because, well, I know what it is and I can trust the format and I don't need to check for the format again. But also I feel like I could do the exact same thing that I'm doing for the CSV and checking if the JSON format is good. Yeah, I don't know. So if you have like some IDs, please tell me. Tell me. Where is this though? There? No. There? Yes. Here? No. Export? Probably. That's supposed to be the button. That's the button I'm supposed to see. Why is it not going through on the other side? Interesting that in view it doesn't work. Oh, maybe it's because it's... No, it's not. I don't know. I do not know why that happens. Interesting. I think my review view is dead as well. Yeah. These two, the import view and the review view, I think they... Review view is weird to say as well. Not gonna lie on this one. But yeah. That's also something that I've done, but it doesn't make any sense. I put the fucking download template at the top. Once you have imported stuff. So if you have, I'm trying to do it on here. If you are importing things to your collection, you will end up on the, here is the thing that you have imported, and you can download the template, which I feel like this button, this download template thing is supposed to be right here, where you want to make sure that the people that are like importing data are importing the right thing. So by default, they should have like a download template, CSV template, so that they can import it properly. But, or potentially in the export as well, I don't know. But yeah, at least here for the import, there should be something that says, well, you need a template maybe. So here's what we have. I don't know. Debating. Debating. We'll see, just small stuff, nonetheless. Small stuff, nonetheless. Um, anyways, anyways. So other than that, we've had some other things. My feed, since we talked about like motion design on Friday and other things, my Twitter feed has been like filled with other Japanese artists, obviously, doing very, very good stuff. And I'm very impressed. So, yeah. Did I say we didn't have a lot of things to look at today? Apparently, I was lying. God damn. I think we stopped somewhere around here. I have a feeling that uh, damn. Yeah, I think we stopped somewhere around here. Like we've seen this butthole illustration thing, and then these stuff as well. There was more cat, and then more stuff. So yeah, it happened. Um, that one was cute. That's the Figma Make event where I was. It's very yellow inside, which feels kind of weird, but it works. I'm also kind of sad that there is no shot of the big screen in there that helps and so on. But yeah, nice to see. Or me on the big screen. What I'm saying, it was nice. We've had cool presentation, but it's about it. Going back to the motion design thing, most of the Japanese people that I'm following that are graphic designers and or animators are just good at what they do. And so we end up with shit like this for events, activities, animations, I don't know. And everything is so good. So, yeah. Again, my feed has been filled with these. So we've seen like a lot of these things. These ones are static and they make a lot of sense in terms of presentation and layout and such. I feel like these are mostly thumbnails and all posters for videos or content or contests and so on, but it was kind of nice to see. Nonetheless, we've had a lot of stickers, a lot of illustration, a lot of new like color schemes stuff. So going back to what I was saying for the pastel coming back, which is still true, some of the designers that are like myself that are seeing the transition to pastels and already are moving forward to non-pastel anymore, are pushing for vibrant colors, and they are using basically the CMYK, the Science Magenta, yellow and black colors as a base for most of the things. So that's really cool to see. We've had the pumpkin from last year coming back. If you know, you've seen that before. If you haven't, that's fine. It was very, very well done as always. So same thing on this one. It's basically CMYK coming back for more vibrancy in the branding and in the logo, the presentation, the things. So again, designers being fed up with the pastels already, even though most people haven't seen pastels just yet. So that's a good thing, good overall like transition that I'm seeing. Pattern, kinda. Not entirely a pattern just yet, but kinda. And this is in between. This is a mix of pastel and vibrancy colors that look kind of glassy. So that happens. This one was pretty cool for the presentation as well. I feel like this is something that has been built specifically for that square environment thing. So this is not, or at least going back to what I was saying earlier, this is not something that is built for or by someone that is doing motion design and then share it. It is something that is made by someone that does motion design specifically for that timeline with a purpose. So it's a purposeful presentation in motion in a very specific format, which most people are not going to use because square is not what you're expecting. So, small details uh, to follow. There was this. If you're not someone that follows PewDiePie, I don't blame you. It happens. Um, but he moved to Japan, and since then everything is kind of good. He's been building a PC. He's been trying to code, installing Linux and other things. Linux? No, Linux. And the last thing that he's been doing is protein folding using GPUs and other things. And a lot of people are just praising because obviously he can do it, and like has that person is saying like he knows more um, than most of the AI influencer that we are seeing on Twitter, which makes sense. The thing that a lot of people are not like necessarily mentioning as well is, technically speaking, the PC is not that impressive, and the task that he did is technically not that impressive. It's really good to do, but it's not that impressive by the means that I could do it, me. But, interesting nonetheless. Some people have been saying that you just need the money to do that. And his rig right now is costing 20K, which, yes, you do need 20K to spend on something that you don't need necessarily. But it's not that expensive. So it's not like as groundbreaking that it seems to be when people are talking about it. That's all I'm saying. Nonetheless, pretty cool. These ones were really interesting when it comes to the build and how things have happened. So this apparently based on the original poster of this animation. They have used the new feature of Adobe Illustrator, which is called Turntable, which gives you the ability to just move and rotate objects and all persona and characters around the turntable automatically. So that's a very interesting thing. And so they have built something using, I think, Rive and Turntable to create that animation of the players just rotating in, rotating out. That's a very cool transition. Other than that, that's it. Not a sports person, so no real specifics things. I saw this. I don't know. I don't know if we can do that. I feel like we can recreate that in Figma as well pretty easily. The only issue that I have with this is it's not high quality enough to see the details. I know the details of this car specifically when I'm looking at them, but like on Figma itself with the compression and so on, we will lose a lot of these small details. But that ass is pretty cool. So we could at some point. I don't know. Not today. Not today. Um, there's been a bit of a weird. We talked about that last year, and it's coming back. So these design styles with the indented elements is something that we pushed like a long time ago. To be honest, I don't remember the first time that I saw that, but it was a long time ago. And for some designers, these are the type of thing that they used to do when they started, which makes sense. But I'm seeing a lot of other designers right now that are bringing this back in a way that just isn't good. So this one, for example, to me, isn't good in the slightest because you have your recessed element here that looks like an input field because it's in my head bound to input fields. And then it's a table alternating colors for the background. So you have things that are raised up and things that are recessed. But each of the pills or the tokens in front are all raised up to roughly the same level. Obviously, it doesn't look like it because like this floor is lower than this one. But there is some issues in the presentation and the hierarchy again of what is currently presented. I wouldn't have said that this is a table by default. I would probably have said, well, you have, I don't know, selection of drop downs or something. But it's kind of weird. Nonetheless, that 4 LED thing is really cool. The the thing that they have achieved with the depth and the sub depth at the bottom of the four is pretty cool. I feel like that font specifically could have been a bit better, a bit bolder, and an LED type, but that's just me. Nonetheless, really interesting to see that that style is kind of coming back. I think there is like another one in that feed that has more stuff. Um, but yeah, this one was really cool just for how peaceful it is. If you're creating a brand and you want something that looks organic and natural, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. Not much to say though, but it's pretty neat. Um, we had that G of Gather that is really cool that we kind of talked about before. I just like it. I don't know if it's that good, but it's pretty good. That's it. That's it. Um, People have no IDs how browsers work, how the internet work, and how anything work. As in that person just saw that there was a lawsuit about Google retaining some incognito browsing data, which we knew about since the beginning. And people are discovering that. So I don't know. I don't know what people know anymore. I don't think I care. But yeah, that was a crazy thing. That was a crazy thing to see. Pastel coming back, that's the thing that I was talking about earlier. This one is so fake and I hate it. I'm sad about this. These are pretty cool. These are mid-journey generation. And as always, my stance on AI generation is kind of AI image generation. It's kind of non-positive most of the time. I think there is a use case in some very specific things, but it can't really be used in that specific thing because it's too specific. However, I see these and I see the progress that we've made in the past year for image generation. I don't think we know anymore. Like, if it wasn't marked right here with the reference of Midjourney, like the thing that we are using for Midjourney for references, and that this user wasn't the one that is posting the thing. Nonetheless, I don't think anyone would be able to say, "Oh yeah, that's an AI generated thing." I think people would probably say, "Oh yeah, that's a nice sketch. That's a nice drawing. That's a nice thing." There is nothing, to me at least. I don't know if you have more eyes than me on this, which is potential. But I don't think anyone that doesn't have an understanding of what is feasible would be able to say, well, this is something that is generated for sure because the composition doesn't make any sense, or the way it's rendering doesn't make any sense. So crayon doesn't leave that amount of lead on the paper that way, which is the case. It does leave that amount of lead based on what you have, or wax, or whatever you have as a crayon. So yeah, I don't know. It's pretty it's pretty impressive. Uh, So I don't know what your stance is on these things, but it's just blow my mind how fast we've grown in terms of image generation, what we can achieve. Like these styles, which are like to me, some of the illustrators and other creators that I know have seen create these types in the past, just will basically lose 99% of their contracts just because, you know, uh, someone wanted to create an illustration of a mini vampire, whatever, for Halloween, instead of going to an illustrator that cost them, I don't know, $1,000, maybe $500. They can just go on Midjourney and use 5 credits to output something like this by simply using this reference. So I get it, but goddamn, that's a lot of like fast update. And if we go through this whole account, for example, which only has 1,000 posts since I think the beginning of the year or something, you can see how things have progressed since then. So that's a very important thing to keep in mind. Again, it's kind of sad, not really happy with it, but then again, I get it. From a brand point of view, if you don't have the funds, I get it. Um, but there is always like a way to get like a real artist do stuff rather than generate something that has been stolen from an artist. So remember that. Remember that. This one was interesting. It goes back to exactly what I've been saying for the past 2 years now. The straight but not straight situation. That whole system of magnifying glass and really cool presentation and so on is really nice. This thing is supposed to be um, based on that preamble. Preamble? I don't know how to pronounce that in English. Preface thing. They are saying that since 2020, they have been recreating the stamps that their grandma has been collecting. And I don't know why. The first time I read this, I had a gut feeling of that first statement is fake entirely. They just wanted to create stamps, and then that's their way of marketing things, which is an option. But I don't know why this was a gut feeling of this is probably fake. We'll see. I'm guessing it's not, but we never know. Nonetheless, the UI is really cool looking. The presentation is really nice. The overall thing that they have created is going to be pretty simple. Most people will not really care about this and would probably have more interest in having the stamps itself, like the actual stamp, and the ability to zoom in. So high quality scans and so on. But yeah, we'll see. Nonetheless, good idea, good project. We'll see where we can go with this. I think we talked about that kind of quickly last time, but not really. These ones are coming in. I don't know if you've seen, if you're someone that is in the design community and you have like an app to showcase and so on. These uh, mockups are all over the place. At least from my point of view, I'm seeing them almost every day, and they are very interesting because they take the app and distort it so much that you don't really recognize or know if the things are well designed or not well designed. I can see a lot of issues with most of these things most of the times, but it's really interesting to see. It's really interesting to uh, like observe, I guess. But yeah, it's just the mockups. The app itself is kind of, I don't know. I don't have enough information in there to be able to say anything. This one was really, really cool for many reasons because it feels like something like this is gonna be used in a game. I'm fine with it. If it's something that's gonna be used in a website, I'm not fine with it. This is a font, apparently, that is basically a sprite of the letters that are going to create some pixelated pixel art things that can be used somewhere. And so you end up with really cool mage, skeleton, couples, robes, ghost, whatever things that could happen in a game in somewhere else. That's a very cool project. It's a font, so that means that you can really quickly change shapes, add shapes by just loading the font and placing one letter that moves around on the pixel sprite that you have. So that's good for a game. If it's not a game and it's on the web, this will break at least 5% of the time, if not more, just because connection doesn't load fast enough, just because it's another font, it's another request, it's another thing that just can't be loaded, which is annoying, but it's something to think about. Nonetheless, really cool project, really cool thing. We had the description of a cat. It happens. I don't know if we agree, but maybe, maybe. These ones were motion design, simple motion design that we talked about last time, which is very simple. Again, everything is fucking Japanese on my feed, which makes sense, but a lot. That was interesting for cross keys. It's not necessarily a collage thing, but it kind of is. Like, this is a whole of everything they had at an event. Good fortune around here, think that they bought deck of cards, and so on. And I feel like you could have something similar in your portfolio if you are still working on that. Just because, you know, your interest could be something like this. Or at least presented like this in a section of the website. But yeah, cool stuff. Nonetheless, cool stuff nonetheless. That's it. Nothing to say there. Nothing to say there. We had more motion design. This one was pretty simple, and that's the reason why I kind of kept it. A lot of this is 3 After Effects filters, and that's about it. So it's just a set of PNGs that are floating around, and some of them have moving pictures, GIFs, GIFs, videos, I don't know. but it makes the entire thing, specifically the beginning, um, very cinematic. This one and the next one, when you look at the details and the things that are making it not like PNG just moving around, simply the lines and the outlines of all of the elements are fuzzy and they have this wiggly thing. So this is one of the plugins that we have in After Effects. And it's just a matter of positioning your camera in that whole 3D environment that you are building to get like that depth effect. Right here was like this first PNG to be going further closer to the camera, and this one as well at different speed and so on. So small details that makes a lot of difference. Um, so yeah, we had a bat kind of upside down, but still bat. And then I think after yesterday, I just had my whole feed filled with these, and I love these. So obviously, if I like one and I saved one and then so on, the algorithm is just saying, "Oh yeah, you like this, so let me show you everything." These are so good because they break my brain in the simplicity system that I have when I'm creating like a logo or something that needs to be memorable, a sticker, whatever. I'm not going to this extent of adding colors, adding shapes, adding effects, and so on. I'm mostly boring when I'm creating stickers. And so going back to seeing these that I had all around me when I was in Japan is so much useful because now I can just think better and have like, okay, I can use different shapes, I can use different outlines, I can sub outline the elements that we have that needs to be sticked and so on. So all of that is pretty useful. As I said, my whole feed has been just filled with these. So lot of knowledge, a lot of learning in there that makes a lot of sense. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that so cute? So much difference and variety as well on the designs and the thing that they are proposing and presenting that, you know, makes a lot of difference, changes, and so on. That person is doing a lot of VTuber environment, but yeah, small details, small stuff. This one was a very small things. We kind of talked about it with Sticky before, and I talked about that before. Still the same thing. Um, this is a mix of the pastel that I'm talking about, but it's also something that is new-ish. Stickers, I'm using stickers all the time, but stickers are coming inside of the UI environments more than I expected. I was expecting them to remain at their regular levels. We have way more now. So that's something. Um, this is one of the places where I would say that this can be considered as a sticker. This one is fucked because the center is a hole. Shouldn't be. Um, but yeah, interesting potential pattern of sticker coming in and being very, very prominent on a lot of places. Um, but we'll see. We will see. We had, yeah, a lot of these all over the place. All over the place, at least for me. This one was a potential of recreating it in Figma, mainly because of the gold effect is really cool, and the engraving is pretty neat. So maybe, I don't know. Sadik, hi, welcome in. That's a weird way to enter chat, but welcome in. How are you? Who are you? How did you find the stream? So that's a very interesting thing. I think the texture could be achieved. I have some doubts on some of the details. So yeah, we are very much, very much. But yeah, that's a potential. I just saved it just in case. I don't know. We'll see. Um, it has like such an interesting take if you look at it from a mechanical point of view. There is streaks that are going from this point to the outside, which are like basically the sending streak. Um, and these ones are engraved around the same center. So it's one circle that is going through the center of that element. I could be able to figure out the full radius by just duplicating one of them. That makes sense. That's easy-ish. Like there is just one going into the center and that's it. And then I'm just rotating it. But the sub streak is gonna be the thing that looks easy that is going to be an issue to recreate inside of Figma. So maybe we'll see. I don't know. Um, I wish we were though. I wish the human race would just go extinct. That would be a good thing. That would be a good thing. But you know, that's not the case right now. So still alive for some fucking reason. Um, this one was interesting as well. Like a lot of people from Japan as well, just showcasing some of the features of iOS that people have no fucking idea how they work. So that was a cool thing to see. Um, we had, okay, as always, this is a bit of I feel like it's a throwback to 2022, which is not that long ago, but it still feels like that long ago, where we were doing some illustration like this a lot for the banners, the marketings, the things, and specifically that blue for AI related stuff is interesting because most people are expecting that blue plus pink combo that a lot of people are using. So that's fun-ish. Again, to me, it's a bit of a throwback based on how I'm using or how I've done things for these marketing assets for Instagram and so on that kind of didn't remain, survive. I guess survive is pretty good. Yeah, they kind of didn't survive at the time, so we'll see if these ones will. It's pretty interesting. Um, this one was funny to me. You probably have seen that before in the overall of what's happening on the tech Twitter situation. Um, that person is saying their SaaS is so goated that even Apple is showcasing it, right? So they just went to the Apple store, put their website on the fucking machines, and then took a pictures on top of it, right? So that person is saying you have free will, you can just pretend, which, you know, that's exactly what they did. What a lot of people, again, don't know about apparently is that these machines that are in the stores are resetted to a very specific state every 3 to 5 minutes, I think, if there is no activities on them. And so they go back to the initial presentation state. Same thing for not just the Apple stores, it's the same thing for the Samsung stores and so on. But they are bound to be resetted in like 3 to 5 minutes, meaning that in the time it took you to set the first one up and then move to the other two, the first one is about to be resetted. So when the picture has been taken, uh, no one has seen anything. So it's nice to lie about it on the internet, but most people don't know about that reset. So, you know, it happens. It happens. Anyways, small details. That one was crazy. I don't know if this is for, I mean, it seems to be like a rap album or something, but these are planes fucking and smoking at the same time. That's the type of shit that you can't really ask AI to create. You can ask AI to just generate some of the parts of these things, like the plants, the bills, the whatever. But having the idea of creating this in the first place is, yeah, it's pretty impressive. So yeah, just going back to you have free will, you have free will. You can create these things if you want to, and it's good. And it's good. Um, so yeah, we had these ones. These ones were really cool. Same thing as earlier. These are a lot of people right now on my feed that are doing some stream overlay content and some activities for your streams, which I think is pretty cool. I have issues with heavily stylized like environment for the simple reason that if this is um, an actual webcam and not a VTuber, I fear, but that's a me thing. I fear that this would take me out of the broadcast entirely. Like the environment is really cool, the design is really cool, but then if I see a realistic things in that whole extremely stylized environment, I might not fuck with it. So that's a debatable point. That is a debatable point. But yeah, nonetheless, uh, Scarlett is doing some clouds in Figma Draw, I think. We talked about this before. This is a very easy thing to do. You just need one blob and then you add a lot of effects to it. But the realisticness of these are really cool. So if you need some assets for clouds in the background of your sites, you can 100% just generate them in SVGs and then, you know, just do that. That's it. It's that easy. So really cool to see nonetheless. This one I can't really give you the sound, but basically they move to speaking officially in droid language, like Star Wars drawing language. I don't know if it's true. It sounds like it. It's pretty impressive. Nonetheless, cool stuff. Cool stuff. Um, all over my feed. Again, like it's really cool. It's makes so much more sense, and everything that is in there is VTuber related content. But yeah, uh, this one was from Figma, kinda. We don't have the direct pictures just yet, but like I may be in one of these screens. I don't think so, but I don't know. I'm unsure. Um, again, because I was on the ones that are in Paris, and these ones are the one that are in Shibuya. They have been presenting the new Figma Make relation and the new Figma Make things. So that was pretty fun. They have the same thing in Singapore, I think. So a lot of advertising budget right now is used by Figma. I get it. They have a ton of money, but yeah, cool stuff nonetheless. Like these ones. Um, that's kind of fun because that's the idea that we had and we filmed in Paris last week, 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't my phone. I just sent it to the screen. Same concept. So we'll see. Nonetheless, really cool. Really cool to see. Since since Affinity is now something that is good, you know, Um, that person has been saying that this is something that they have made in Affinity, and I'm seeing some of the details in ways that just make less sense to me. This look very much 3D, Blender E 3D rendering. And so if Affinity Designer has the ability to create these things, and apparently does, I'm really impressed. So we'll see. We'll see if I move to that at some point. I have it, just not used it yet, but it's somewhere in there already. So that's cool. That's cool. More stream related stuff, which is not that important. Not that impressive either. And then, yeah, everything is just stream related stuff, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's the whole flow here. I need to pee 1 second. All right. Other than that, to be honest, um, that's about it. Don't have a lot more. At least on Twitter, we don't have a lot more to talk about. There hasn't been a lot of things happening, and same thing on Threads. Not necessarily like a place where things have happened. So I don't know. But yeah, we might take a look at Affinity, even though I don't think we can do anything with it personally around here. But yeah. 1 second. That makes no sense. I don't know. I received an email that makes no sense. It happens. It happens. Um, yeah, that happens. That's fine. As always, if you have a design question, feel free to ask. Or questions in general. That happens. We have like other things. I'm kind of complaining about Pinterest again because it's just as broken as ever. I don't know. It's kind of weird to be that broken, but it is that broken. Nothing that they are recommending me is aligned with my content, and I don't know if it's because uh, something that happens, Stony. All right. All right. I It happens. Appreciate it. I'm guessing this is probably like a common, like a combined stuff that you've seen that on another platform, another someone, you know, probably. Um, but yeah, how's the mobile music player, by the way? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. By the way, do you have like all of the pages? Do you have everything working? That's the question. Do you have everything working, and it's just not well designed, but you have everything and you can basically use this as an app? Is that where you stand right now? Not yet. Kind of sad. That's kind of sad. Um, because again, I mean, biased on this, but go do that. Because this thing, for example, is not good when it comes to the design. Like I'm really not the biggest fan of what I've done for the design in some of the sections here, and a lot of these sections are good, right? I do like these ones, for example. They make sense. They work and so on. But a lot of these sections would benefit from having like a different design, or something that is a bit more personalized or something. I don't know. Like this one is good. This one is okay. Like these cards are okay. The version that is in grid makes a lot more sense to me, and specifically when you have something in testing right now, it makes a lot more sense. So I do like it. And then the sections that is in the ad fragrance is a bit too form y. So you have a lot of things that make sense. It's working, but it's not good. And design wise, it's just okay. There is a lot of things that can be changed, can be added and helpful. Like, for example, the fact that the gender and the concentration could be pre-selected for you, because we know, I mean, specifically on my end, I don't want to have gender in the app itself. It doesn't make any sense. I do think that perfumes all over the place are mostly unisex. Like you can wear whatever the fuck you want. And if you find something that is kind of floral and sweet and sugary and whatever, but you like it, why not? So that's the reason. I don't know if I will remove gender entirely. I might, because it just makes more sense. But yeah, that's the type of thing that I'm thinking about, and I'm like, maybe these sections, maybe the node selection is good, but it could benefit from having like a bit more something, specifically when you're selecting notes. The bar at the top is not really good. Um, like it's just, it could be a bit better. So thinking about all of these things is important, but at least I have something that works, and now I can just work on that and make sure that I'm improving on the existing stuff. So, for example, here, the page is good, but this page isn't, or at least isn't as good as it could be. Going back to what I was saying a second ago, same thing. Like the grid view is a bit better. So here the grid view could work. Um, it apparently needs to change the font. I forgot to change the font, and I'm gonna do that today, probably now. But yeah, like that's something that needs to happen. The profile is okay. I removed the profile title at the top because that made no sense, and now I'm debating removing the titles everywhere else because discovery makes no sense. My collection makes sense, but it's also the title of the collection that you have. So if it was in the title of the view, like it is here, that might make more sense. So, like adding all of these changes later is something that is probably good and will probably be beneficial in the end. But for now, not really. So I can wait. I can just have um, stuff and yeah. Isn't that something that you can do if you didn't you have um, your multi-chat thing? Like, I thought, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I thought you have the ability to see multiple chats from multiple channels at once for your admin view that you made. Couldn't you just have that in like the input field for the text and just send that either multiple times or just one times and be done with it? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Um, that's the thing that I'm looking for. So, I think this is supposed to be in the sheets. That's not the fragrance search view, it's this one. It's the base perfume picker, which is this entire file. I didn't know that I had a file for this thing. I forgot. The base perfume row is the thing that I need, and then my not image, my currently text stuff. So that's the thing. I need the line limit to be here. This is going to be a font design, and it's going to use the serif version, and that is going to use something else with the italic as well. So now we will have all of our perfume names use the exact same font as the other cards, because that's the goal, which is good. The other thing that I was debating was basically having these things side by side, but I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea. So we'll see. We will see. In our spacer here, we have our image. I fear we need some padding, trailing on this. However, 16 might be too much. 10? Maybe? Yeah, 10 is fine. I know you can't really see much specifically from that far off. I think 12 would be good, but yeah, dang. Small detail for the selection. That's okay. I wish I knew. That's the thing that pisses me off. I wish I knew how to use icon buttons, but I don't. So even with like the documentation and so on, I it just doesn't make a lot of sense for me. So I don't know. Yep. Well, apparently I know how to do that now. uh, all right, cool. What's the arrow that we need for the refresh? I don't know. What's the name they give it? What's the name? I want like reset, basically. I guess. I guess. Do I need the label? That's my question. Is that breaking? Or can I just have... I think I do need the line of text. So that's interesting. That's good to know. At least from my point of view, that's good to know. And then all of that just to have a bit of a simpler header. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. Select base perfume. Yeah, why not? Why not? That's fine. That is fine. Placement is automatic. Select perfume is making sense. These two make sense. Cool. Good. Does it work? That's the question. That is the question. But yeah, I'm surprised that you don't have the things in questions, Stone. For the Android version, at least. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. There are two things that are pissing me off. The first one is this, because to me, that means that there is something underneath, right? You are in a scroll view and you have padding that is cropping said scroll view, which makes sense. That's fine. The thing is, in order to make this make sense in terms of design, you would need to expand that scroll view to go at the edges of the container, and that would make sense. The thing is, if you do such thing and you make it go to the edge of the container, the off is going to be displayed properly, and it it doesn't look like it's scrollable anymore. So that's really bad. And so I I get it, but damn, you don't really have a lot of changes to do, you know, to make it matches the initial thing. Um, I don't know if the web version is gonna be the best option though. Give me a sec on this one. I don't know. Mm, mm. Did I do that? I don't think I did. Yeah, I didn't. Right? I didn't give you the player in player mode in here. I have that only in the mess. I know. That's a lot of images right there. Aren't it supposed to be somewhere around here? It is. Or at least, I don't know if you reuse the exact same thing, but yeah. Hmm. Eh. I'm gonna say something that you're not gonna be happy with. All right? I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good either. I personally feel that using the native player would probably be a better option than trying to redesign the existing player to fit the design of the app. Mainly because if you do that, you end up with something that would be optimized by the device manufacturer, and you don't have to work that much on achieving what you want to achieve. So if you just use the system default, if that exists, I don't know. I don't have a play on the apps that I'm building, so I have no clue. But using the system default plus specificities, if there is like property specification options for the player in Android, that would make more sense for the simple reason that this way the users would be at home and would recognize the interface better than if it's like a custom designed thing. I know it works. It's just related to the design of and how things would be behaving. I feel like you might be able to get like episodes being chapters or quality being like a button that is already in there by default, something that doesn't really require you to just move things around and have like multiple options at the bottom. The main thing that I'm saying is like potentially not doing a custom player again. You know. What? I get it. I get it. At least you have something. At least you have something, which is pretty good. That's a good thing. That nothing to complain about. That is good. That is good. Um, from what I've said here, we had something related to the unlock whatever. Basically in the set. Nope. Yes, in the settings, I have done some mini changes to make these cards a bit more premium. So I'm thinking about doing the exact same thing here, which is very, very simple. But yeah. So that is the same thing. It's a font design, dot serif, that makes sense, and then an italic. God damn it. Italic presentation. That would make this more premium. It doesn't make a lot of things more premium, but like it's just more premium. Or more premium looking, I don't know. The fact that serif fonts are just associated with luxury and premium stuff because it's used to be print. Oh, I'm not the best suited for that. It doesn't make a lot of sense. One of the stuff that I was about to say is in the current selection. So when you have what you currently have, like no layering recommendations and so on, like that should be linked to your sections. Right about here. What I'm thinking, the combination name section right here. I feel like I want to have, specifically because of the one that I have currently on my phone, that's the reason why I'm thinking about this. The current one, right there, is such a long ass name that you can't even see the name of the second perfume that you're supposed to layer it with. That's bad. It's not a good thing. That is not helping anyone. You can only see. So obviously I know my collection, so I know what my bottles look like. But for someone that doesn't have the bottles or doesn't know their collection is as good as me, because my collection is tiny, you don't remember this. You don't know. So I'm thinking this could have a character count, like base perfume name, prefix, I don't know, 5, 10, 18 characters, maybe, if that's an option. But I don't know how to do that. So let's check. I guess it's truncate. I guess. It's not a line limit. I don't want a line limit. I want a... I want that. It is a prefix. I was right, got they. Oh, what, 16? Oh, it would work. That's the thing. That would work, but also, goddamn. I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think it's gonna work. Let me check. Let's see. I really need this, by the way. I need the Duolingo things to work. For can, I need that. Oh, fuck's sake. Yeah, you see that? That's bad. But that works. Ah. Do we have something in there? Um, yeah, the thing is the dot 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 makes no sense to me because I can't do that if it doesn't have, like if it's not truncated. So yeah, I again, I don't think this is a good idea. Think it would work, but yeah. The thing that I'm talking about is basically I need this for can. I need a way for can to display like your all um streak and things. Because that's useful. I also need to change this. I need to change so much things. Uh yeah, they are laggy a tad, these two together. Even on desktop, that's kind of interesting. Interesting to see. But it works. It works. Kinda. Kinda. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. That's working. It's a bit much for a highlight. Like these backgrounds are really bright for said background. I don't know why I changed it to that bright, but I did. Um, so yeah, we'll see. We will see. Hmm. See, this one, I don't know which one it is. That's the issue. That is the issue. Is it because it's fixed to one line? Do I have like a one line limit thing in there? I do. Ah, that's the reason. Should I not? Hmm. Well, if I don't, that's the thing. If I don't do that and I get the recommendation to be on multiple lines, I'm gonna end up with uh, a higher line height. You know what? Let's just check it out. Just see how it looks. Because that's how we learn. At least for me. That's how I learn. I don't think it's going to be good, specifically with that name, because that name is going to take 2.5 lines, or 1.5 lines, and then the second one is going to take as well a line and a half, roughly. So, not the best. Not the best at all. Um, Also, does it work? All right. I guess because of this. I don't even think this is a good idea, to be honest. The fact that I have my recommendation service that has the combination name as a string that is related around here, when technically speaking, we don't really need anything else, or we don't need to combine the current name and the recommendation any other places. It feels like it would be easier for me to just use that directly right here. But I don't know if that's an option. And do I care to find out? I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah. These environment objects, I don't have them. They're supposed to come from the service, which makes sense. Ah, god damn. I don't know. That's something, for example, that I need an assistant for, because that is the stuff that I don't know how to manage. Not know how to manage that, which is fine. Still. Still. By the way, Jan, same question. Do you have um, a version of the app that is running on device other than you? Like other than your device? Thing that you have shared with other people? Or not yet? That's shit. That's really bad. I don't know. I'm gonna need to figure that one out. The good thing about here is that Santa Casa is the only one that I have that has that hand, right? So I know which perfumes I have based on the bottle, specifically on this brand. They all look differently, so that makes sense. But for here, for example, if I didn't know, um, it, you know, like it's kind of complicated to read these three fucking brands because they are kind of the same. Same thing here. If it wasn't like front and center, I wouldn't be able to read. So complicated, complicated. Nonetheless, um, that's fine. That is fine. What else did I say I needed to change? There are things that I'm like debating in terms of changing the icons that are the native icons, as in the heart is pretty good, but it's also like debatable. You know, same thing there. Like that section doesn't make any sense. The one that have been reviewed is limited, not necessarily useful. The one that are like recent is anything that you have added in the past 30 days. So the ones that are now empty that you have added in the past 30 days are going to be here. So if you don't like update your collection often, which is a good thing if you have a big collection, that section is not going to make any fucking sense. So again, there is like a lot of things that needs to be put in place for this to work. But right now, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I probably will. This one is so good looking. That's all I have to say. That's just this fucking view with all the colors every time. I love this. Uh, it's such a small detail. I know we have like almost nothing of this, so I'm gonna drop that down because it's necessary. And I know that this one is also almost done. If only. If only. Yeah. Gonna need to assess that as well. That's gonna be a thing. That is going to be a thing. But we'll see. We will see. I think that's good overall thing. There is like another thing that I haven't touched on, but exists still, which is in this view specifically, when you end up with a perfume that you're currently wearing and you just ended the bottle. So let's say that's my bottle. Where is it? Bottle. All right. So that this is my bottle. If you can see the continent, I don't think you can. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. Um, yeah, you can't see shit. Goddamn. Uh, so basically, what I'm saying is, if we are at the bottom of this thing, and I'm wearing it second time, and it goes from X amount of percentage left to 0, it still is presented here as currently wearing. However, it's supposed to be right at the top of this list as today. And right this instant, it goes from where it's supposed to be to empty because it is empty, and that makes sense. But you finished the bottle today, and we are currently wearing the perfume on yourself. So it's supposed to go on the today section. And right now that's not working. So I need to fix that. That's something that I cannot fix myself for many reasons, but I cannot fix that myself. And for that same reason, it goes to 0, which means that the entirety of this view remain here on that view format. And when you change status, it changes to this one, which is re-add to collection. And basically after the first check-in type of thing, it goes back and you end up with re-add to collection, even though it's still wearing today. So that's a bit of a thing that I don't know exactly how to fix. We'll fix it, but I don't know exactly how to fix. It's gonna be fine. It is going to be fine. Is this one the one that I said no? Yeah. I forgot about that. Far away. Far away. But yeah, that's where we are. I don't know. It's kind of not the best option, but it's what we have. And it works. So we are going to see that. Yeah. Other than that, again, going back to what I was saying earlier, other than that, we don't have a lot of news. There has been like new addition to, I mean, the app has been updated yesterday, this morning, and we have new things in the discovery section. Now we have like the search results history. So if you have searched something, you can just tap that again, and it's just working. The issue is you need to look for something first, then you can tap. I don't know how to fix that just yet. I know what's the issue. It's the database that is not loaded. But yeah, that's the thing. Need to be fixed as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What happened here? Nothing. Cool. Good news. That is a good news indeed. That hurts so bad. God damn. Wow. Don't worry, I'm just dying. Everything is fine. Whoa. It needs to happen. It will need to happen on camera. I don't have it. Yeah, don't have a choice. Um, yeah. Oh, god damn. I have something as well that is kind of different. I've rewatched, and that was kind of against my will, but still willingly. I have rewatched the entirety of the Star Wars things since I finished like the Mandalorian and the other sub seasons and series of Star Wars related content. It's really bad. It's really fun to rewatch stuff, and I've been doing that for the past few months of rewatching the things that I watched when I was younger and thought were really good. And unless you've been like the same person since the first time that you watched the thing, when you're rewatching a movie or TV show or something, and it's like different based on your understanding of the situation and the environment in which this movie took place or TV show took place, it's just so hard to watch. So, for example, the Star Wars series, specifically the initial three, are such a different thing compared to what I remembered. Because I remember everything happening and taking so long. And then when I rewatched them, you don't really have a sense of time passing. And I don't really understand how that is the case or why that is the case. But you don't know how many days happen in between this ship got destroyed and the next scene is we are on the other side of the galaxy doing the same thing again. And so I feel like it's so bad for continuity because you don't really understand how things happened. Whereas in the Mandalorian or in Andor, for example, when there is travel time, you can see the travel time, even though it's not necessarily told that it's exactly like 6 months, exactly 3 hours, exactly something else, and slight speed differentiators and so on. You still have that traveling section, even if it's like 3 to 5 seconds, you understand that something has happened to go from sector A to sector D, for example. Whereas in the old one, because they didn't have the tech or didn't know better or didn't have the entirety of the understanding of the world building at the time, I don't know. Probably they did. I have no clue. Um, they just, or at least for me, they are missing things that help my brain just understand what the fuck is happening on screen. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. And then going back to other movies, not necessarily the Star Wars one, I watched or rewatched the some of the Disney movie that I watched when I was a kid, like multiple times with my sister, and they are just bad. Like I understand that they are formative movies for a lot of people, but it's just bad. So I'm kind of sad to have been like formatted with these and not anything else. But then at the time at which I watched them, for sure, I wouldn't have been able to understand the difference and the references and the things that I now understand. But god damn. most of the movies that I liked are really bad, which is really sad. But that's where we are. Not a lot, but still. Not a lot, but still. God damn, that hurt so bad. So sad. I might have to end the stream early for this and go lay down for today. That makes no sense. But yeah. Other than that, these changes that I've made to the app and the thing, I don't have enough of um, design related stuff that I kind of worked on to show or present or so on. So that's kind of sad. I wish I could. I wish I had stuff to potentially show, but I don't. Not there enough, um, not further down enough to show you some of the content. So yeah. Again, I mean, I said I've made some progress in the images section. Um, that's gonna be okay, I think. So we have a lot of citrusy and other things that we talked about before, but we also have like fruits, good fruits, um, and herbs and branches and woods. But kind of hard to get like some of these plants in ways that just looks okay when you are outlining them. Like this one, I couldn't find anything that didn't have the fucking roots because the roots make sense for the plants because they are part of what makes that plant, that lemongrass specifically, uh, lemongrass. So that is annoying. Eh, so yeah, kind of had to find things, and some of these makes no sense. Like at the end of the day, the goal is going to have these things as stickers as well inside of the app itself. And so figuring out how to make like stickers out of this, that's not good. Out of this, that's fine. Is it recognizable? I don't think so. And so all of that is going to need to have like so much work done, so much understanding of the pixels themselves to render this all things properly. That's going to be a pain in the ass. I'm telling you this right now. Like, look at all of that. All of these fucking pine needles are gonna have an outline. I'm not looking forward to this. So yeah, I need to figure out like are the blocks, like the fruits that I have are the best option. Most of these are like really good in terms of the cut and the stickering of these. Um, but yeah, what do you mean? I got my work cut out for me. What do you mean? What do you mean? Um, the flowers, some of the flowers are good. I need to chop that off. The stems are going to need to be chopped off, but also the iris, the stems is part of the flowers and it needs to like make sense. I tried to see if I had some of my base flowers like available in the pictures that I've taken of flowers, but I didn't. So yeah, yeah, it's not like a lot. It's too much. I have all of these as well to figure out. And as I said last week, 2 weeks ago, I think, these are very hard to find. So most of these are synthetic. So they make no sense. As in, white musk is not a flower. It doesn't exist. It's not something that can be represented as an image, even though people are like using as reference. So it's not really true. When you're going into Civet, for example, which is another one that I already used, it's this bitch ass thing. And so getting these as images feels kind of wrong because it's an extract, it's an oil type of situation. It's not necessarily something that is recognizable, but it is part of that animal thing. And these, it just make no sense. If I say oud as in perfume, I'm getting the woods that I'm using, and that makes sense. But if I'm using this synthetic oud instead, there's an H here. I have a fucking oil, and that's it. And so it's really complicated to showcase this and to present these things properly. All of the synthetic could be reusing the non-synthetic as an image because that makes sense, right? It's the same scent anyways, so the fact that it's synthetic or not doesn't really matter. But these ones, the aldehydes things, they are represented with one specific type of flower, and that flower is usually like a bluish flower like these ones, but they are not true equal to what they are. So it's really, again, it's really annoying for me to figure out. And then all of the animalic ones are just bad. Just bad. Synthetic and these ones, like these 10-ish, because the mask and white mask are basically the same thing and so on. These ones are what pissing me off on top of the one that already pissed me off right here. Sea salt. How the fuck do you want me to represent sea salt if it's not like that? God damn. And then same thing, like I was thinking about this one. This is honey, and using honeycombs is a better option because that's more recognizable. However, honeycombs in perfume and honey are different notes, so people recognize them as two different things. One day that will make sense. Apparently that's not today. Apparently that is not today. But yeah, most of these are going to be a bit fun to stickerized. We'll see. I figure it out. I'll figure it out. Also, this one is kind of... Do you know what that is? From just looking at it. Like, without really paying attention. Do you know what that is? Does that give you an idea? I'm zoomed in a bit more than expected, but... You know, that speaks to you. I don't think so. Same thing here. Like, you don't really recognize these nuts. This is black pepper. This is one single seed of black pepper. Dried black pepper. And that's the same thing. Like, I don't know if one makes sense, if I need three of them, if I need to scatter them around in the ID. Going back to the initial take or the thing that I want to have is the same thing that we have on Zenbird going here. Like, I kind of want to have these things to be the previews in the background. So either the main notes or some specifics, I don't really know. But having these as a presentation option is going to be really useful. And I feel like that's going to help so much. But goddamn. I need to know where that's coming from. I could just siphon this website. I probably can. But yeah, they have nothing in there. That's also the thing that is pissing me off. They have some perfumes, but they don't have like all of the thing that we want. So we will see. We will see. They're doing really good for the pictures, though. That's the only thing that I can give them. The fragrances pictures themselves are really nice, and I wish I checked that because I don't know if that's a thing. Cat, that's gonna be for you. I don't know if there is like a preview image. And apparently there isn't, unless there is one and it's just like not loading. I don't know. But yeah, debatable. Debatable. I don't know. I don't know. That happens. That's the reason. Anyways, that's the wrong screen. That was the wrong screen. I think I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be making a lot more sense. Speaking of, I'm sending you to Cat because chest is hurting right now, so I need to go. I need to go to rest and do things and see if all works. But yeah, shorter one today. As always, the VOD is going to be on YouTube if you want to watch that for some reason. For the review of the thing that happens today, we have the Discord if you are interested in asking questions when I'm not live. And as always, I shall be back on Wednesday. Unless I die because this hurt so bad, I might. But yeah, that is where we are. As always, if you want to learn Japanese, Cat is pretty good. And if you want to give me some money, you can sub or buy UI kit, but it's not necessary. As always, use your money for your money and the usual. The usual. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay. Anyways, I won, apparently. Alright. Take care of yourself. Eat something, drink something, be kind to each other. I'm gonna lay down and hope that this pain passes. But we'll see. Anyways, bye.